Hi. Hello. Howdy. Welcome to the guided tutorial for Alter TCG, a game so good that despite having a player base smaller than the average Forest Warrior 1996 fanmate, it has already gone on to acquire numerous highly coveted and definitely real awards. My name is Ash, I am 26 years old, and I am the creator of Alter. Now, for reasons I simply cannot comprehend, my kind requests for another to write and produce this guide have been met with nothing but hostility from the other members of Ashen Knight. Thus, the task of explaining the world's first Alter-type TCG falls solely and exclusively to me. Alter is a deck-building trading card strategy game with a focus on modularity, interaction, and player expression. At least on paper. By material summoning altars onto attuned vessels in your material zone, you can craft a being capable of delivering devastating high-damage attack combos and complex effect sequences, with the goal of eventually destroying your opponent's shrine. Now, you likely haven't the faintest idea what any of those words mean, but that's all right. Because neither does anybody else. Before subjecting yourself to a game of Alter, one must first follow these 7 key steps to prepare. I shall now guide you through each one. However, before I do, we must first discuss. This took me a very long time to make. If you don't like it, then I shall simply kill myself. Comprised of 5 main zones, the arena is where you shall lead your crusade. Each zone is named thusly. This is the cathedral. This is the astral zone. This here is the material zone. To the left is the underworld. And finally, there is the deck zone. I shall explain each one in detail as they become relevant. To begin, all gauges are first set to 0. Each point in a gauge represents a value of 1. A value of 0 is represented by placing the token in any area outside of the gauge. As you may have noticed, the arena contains several different gauges. While I'm sure these other gauges are probably fun and whimsical in their own right, for now we must focus our attention onto the most important gauge. The Ether is your main resource in Alter. It is represented by the hexagram symbol. It is stored primarily in the Ether gauge, which can hold anywhere from 0 to 20 Ether. This gauge is shared between both players. However, only the player whose turn it is may add or subtract Ether from the Ether gauge. To perform any game action that costs Ether, one must first subtract the required value from the gauge before the action can be resolved. For those of you who are curious, the answer is no. I did not realize that Bring Me the Horizon uses a hexagram as their logo until it was far, far too late. Using a die of any value of your choosing, you must now determine who shall be the invader and who shall be the defender. The player who rolls the highest is the defender, and the player who rolls the lowest is the invader. The defender always takes the first turn. Both players must now set their shrine card face down in the cathedral. But what is a shrine card, I hear you ask? I don't know. I forgot. Both players must now... Never mind, I've remembered. And thus you are introduced to the first and most sacred card. The Shrine. The Shrine is your lifeblood. The shrine of your enemy is your target. It can exist only in your cathedral, where you must protect it at all costs, lest your opponent destroys it and you are defeated. Each shrine is unique, with its own set of effects, ether production value, and, most importantly, its own health value. As with all cards in Alter, the type-specific effect, in this case a shrine-type effect, is located at the bottom of the card, with the type-agnostic main effect located above it. We shall discuss effect types in more detail later, but for now, try to commit their positions to memory, or I will cry. With our shrine card now set face up in our cathedral, we must now select one vessel to place face up in our material zone.
Hi, Editing Ash here. So this fucking idiot here kind of misspoke. That I really should have said that you search your deck for one vessel to set face up in your material zone, um, instead of just saying select. Anyway. All right, back to this fucking idiot, I guess.
But Ash, I hear you cry. Dear, sweet, fair Ashley, pray tell, what is a vessel? What is a material zone? Yes, it's... As you can clearly see, whoever drew the art for this particular card must be incredibly funny and irresistibly attractive. Vessels are the foundation of your army. They are capable of physically attacking your opponent and, for those more arcanely inclined, also provide their own main effect and type-specific vessel effect. As vessels are material life forms, they cannot inhabit your astral zone. However, they are the only card type in the game which can be material summoned, that is, be set face up in your material zone directly from your hand, by simply paying the ether cost. As you may have noticed, there are also several symbols at the bottom of the card. These are the three main attributes which measure the abilities and power of a card. First, there is health, a measure of physical fortitude. Then, there is strength, a measure of combat prowess and power. And finally, there is neural, a measure of arcane might and sanity. With your starting vessel selected, you must now place it face up into your... The material zone is your front line. Any cards here are in danger of being attacked, executed, invited to an exclusive screening of Forest Warrior 1996, or being targeted by effects. However, this is also the only zone where your soldiers may launch attacks of their own, or activate their effects. With your starting vessel now set face up in your material zone, you must now set the associated health gauge to the value indicated on the vessel card. When this gauge reaches 0, your vessel will be executed and sent screaming into the underworld, which, more than just being a crushing tactical defeat, is an opportunity for your smug bastard opponent to feel a sense of entirely undeserved accomplishment. With our starting vessel now patiently awaiting the beginning of our crusade, you must thoroughly shuffle your deck. Though, it is truly anybody's guess which zone to set it in. And now is your time to dance with Lady Luck. You must now draw exactly 5 cards. These shall be your opening hand. If your dalliance with that most fickle of maidens has gone awry, and your heart trembles with terror at the mere sight of your cards, then worry not. You may once more try to charm Lady Luck by shuffling your cards back into the deck and drawing another 5. However, you may only do this once. If, after redrawing your opening hand, you find it is still unsatisfactory, this is because you are ontologically evil. And thus, we have arrived. The final stage before your crusade can begin. Starting with the defender, you must flip your shrine card face up, and then set its health gauge to the value indicated on the card. When this gauge reaches 0, you are defeated. I suggest you take victory very, very seriously, Inquisitor. For you see, facing defeat in any game of Altar means that you will be immediately and automatically excluded from my 30th anniversary celebratory screening of Forest Warrior 1996.